Aire-Beaumont, a small town in Belgium, lies 160 kilometers from the capital, Brussels.
Vous habitez ici?
Oui.
Depuis toujours?
Oh, depuis longtemps.
Until today, some residents still remember a Chinese woman lived here. Her name was Qian Xiuling. In April 1943, Qian Xiuling, who had just turned 30, made a highly risky decision to save a local resident named Roger. Belgium was occupied by Germany at that time. Roger joined a local resistance movement and was sentenced to death by the Germans after bombing a German transport railway. The news spread quickly in Aire-Beaumont, with just over 100 residents. Everyone admired Roger's courage and tried every possible way to rescue the young man. Even the King of Belgium appealed to the Gestapo to spare Roger's life at the request of Roger's parents. However, all efforts failed. Then Qian Xiuling stepped forward. 2 days later, she went to Brussels with a petition signed by the entire town, seeking a meeting with the Nazi Governor-General Alexander von Falkenhausen. In one of the previous interviews, Qian said,
Il est content de me voir parce que j'étais une Chinoise.
He was very happy to see me because I am Chinese, and he loves China very much. Then I handed him the documents. He assured me, I will do my best, as if I have helped China in some way.
A few days later, the whole town learned the news that Roger had been sentenced to a fixed-term imprisonment, and his life was saved. Everyone regarded this event as a miracle. The locals had referred to Qian Xiuling as the Chinese girl. Now she became a hero here, but no one knew how she did it. Qian Xiuling was born in Yixing, China, in 1913. The liberal-minded family allowed her to receive a modern education. In 1929, 16-year-old Qian Xiuling arrived in Belgium and studied at the prestigious University of Leuven. Later, she fell in love and married a Greek student from the same university, Grégoire de Périgny. Qian Xiuling's ability to save Roger was attributed to her cousin Zheng Jiulun's close relationship with Falkenhausen. In 1930, Falkenhausen came to China and joined the Foreign Military Advisory Group of the National Government of China. Qian Xiuling's nephew, Qian Zhenhe, later recounted the bond between his uncle and Falkenhausen.
The military advisory group included people from various countries, and Falkenhausen was the head. The person he contacted in China was my uncle Qian Xiuling, and because of this, they became good friends.
Rescuing someone unrelated meant risking being targeted by the Gestapo, which could put oneself in danger. However, Qian Xiuling seemed unconcerned by these risks. Jérôme de Périgny, Qian Xiuling's grandson, reflects on his grandmother's courageous acts.
She didn't give us many details. We don't know. I mean, I do not think it's in the hundreds, so it's lower than that, so, but it doesn't matter, whatever the number may be, it's an important number because, she saved some people.
Every life is connected to a family, a bond of affection and hope. Qian Xiuling from China was running for saving lives on the land of Belgium. The following audio was recorded in 2019. Maurice Duclos, the oldest person in the city of Ecosine, Belgium, is celebrating his 104th birthday. Duclos is the only living person among those rescued by Qian Xiuling. He still vividly remembers the death threats he experienced during World War II. In 1944, during an operation by Belgian resistance in Ecosine, 3 Gestapo officers were killed, causing a surge of anger among the German army. In retaliation, 100 civilians were arrested. Duclos was among them. If the killers were not arrested within 36 hours, these civilians would face execution. 4 civilians attempting to escape were shot on the spot. The anxious mayor of Ecosine, having heard about Qian Xiuling's rescue efforts, rushed to Erboumont that evening, pleading with her to save lives again. Qian Xiuling was pregnant at that time. Her husband advised her to write a letter to Falkenhausen instead of going in person. As Qian Xiuling's grandson recalls, the entire family shared these concerns.
Some family members, from what I hear, my grandfather was, very worried about this, but it was, always a risk.
In a later interview, Qian Xiuling reflected on the dangers.
Back then, Hitler no longer trusted Falkenhausen because he thought Falkenhausen's punishments were far from enough. So from this perspective, getting close to the general was risky. Someone advised me not to meet him. You shouldn't go because Hitler no longer favors Falkenhausen.
But the risks did not end there. At that time, the Allies had just completed the Normandy landing, and Nazi Germany was in a state of panic, tightening its control over the occupied territories, with the Gestapo's arrests and killings becoming increasingly frequent. The husband's dissuasion failed, and Qian Xiuling set off overnight.
So she never told me exactly why she did it, but I'm totally sure, convinced, knowing her, that she felt that it was absolutely the right thing to do, and she put her beliefs above her own life.
The Senef Castle Museum in the suburbs of Brussels was the residence of Falkenhausen during World War II, and was also the place where Qian Xiuling saved nearly 100 lives. On June 8, 1944, when Qian Xiuling arrived here, there was only 24 hours left until the execution deadline. The next day, under the watchful eyes of numerous armed German soldiers, Qian Xiuling entered the castle hall after passing through 3 checkpoints for inspection and questioning. Faced with Qian Xiuling's request, Falkenhausen was quite hesitant. However, in the end, he still assured her that he would do his utmost. On that day, among the arrested civilians, 19 of the most vulnerable were released, while the others were escorted away from the prison. Qian Xiuling once again became a lifesaver. In the Royal Library of Belgium, a local newspaper recorded the scene of a grand gathering held in the city of Ecosine to celebrate liberation. Qian Xiuling became the greatest hero in the hearts of the people. Echoing within the city hall of Ecosine were the enthusiastic cheers for the Oriental Angel. Meanwhile, In the main square, the public listening to the live broadcast through loudspeakers were loudly calling out the name of Miss Qian Xiuling, hoping she would come to the balcony. When she appeared, the crowd erupted in unending cheers. During a previous interview, Doclo expressed his gratitude to Qian Xiuling.
She was very capable, beautiful and innocent. I want to say thank you to her.
In honor of Qian Xiuling, Ecosine City named a street after her. The Belgian government awarded her the National Medal. As the echoes of war faded away, Qian Xiuling quietly lived out her days in Belgium. She spent her later years in an ordinary nursing home, according to Qian Xiuling's great-grandniece, Qian Tongxin.
The nursing home was quite ordinary, like an apartment building. There was a blackboard with a note that said, "Can you bring me some fruit? Also, if possible, some small wontons?"
Small wonton was Qian Xiuling's favorite food, from her birthplace in China, which is 8,000 kilometers away. Disclaimer: this episode includes AI-generated voice content.